Alright, so we're gonna be checking out some Feastopia. Very relatable, get hangry. I'm just quickly checking to make sure I didn't miss any of my achievements or the Land of Wishes. Okay, so we did spend all our stuff after the last round. But Feastopia is a roguelite city builder. We're on difficulty 6. So with the last difficulty we did, that's the wrong button. The last difficulty we did, so the fulfillment hasn't gone up at all. Interestingly, oh, so the amount of wrath we're allowed to build up is lower. So that's kind of the big thing, is the point where we hit the lose condition is earlier. We do get the blueprints obtainable faster. The modifier on how hard it is ever so slightly higher. And they've actually reduced the number of starting ability points I get from 10 to 9. And we still have 2 negatives. And another negative they've added that wasn't here the last time is residents consume more food, which is pretty bad because everything's based around food. Okay, so we've got the Sunlit Jungle, which we will get feathers sometimes when we get eggs. We've got the Umber Swamp. Let's see. That they'll prefer delicious, where sometimes we'll get a small amount of peppers each time the weather changes. Or we can do random, where we don't know what we're going to get, and we'll get extra of the fruit. And these are the fruit that give you the meta progress, so I'm going to do that, because I've done both of these other ones before. So we're going to say whatever. So I've got 9 points to give myself the things that'll be like my starting conditions. And you can see, like, some of them are cheap, like giving yourself some, like, easy early close and all that costs almost nothing. Whereas giving yourself the soapery at the start is like 5, which is really high. Giving yourself leather shoe production at the start is really high. I'm going to go with the... What are you? Master Trader. Export prices are higher is pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go with the people are just healthier. During sunny days, our workers are happier, and during sunny days, our chefs are happier. And then after that, I'm going to give ourselves a stack of blueberries and a stack of onions. So I've got some easy early game food, and then some buffs that'll show up every time it's sunny. That should give us a little bit of an edge during the sunny days. Alright, so looking at the things we've got going on, during fog, thieves will appear and steal 3 food every 60 seconds. Endless snow. During the snow, Gathering Hut has a penalty of 30% reduced efficiency. During scorching sunlight, our mines are 20% less efficient. The Dum-Dums are 10% faster. We have plus 10 health just in general. Plus 10 happiness on residents. The efficient production, the efficiency of all buildings is plus 15. Okay, so that's actually a really good one. This is the, if we win, we get extra fruit. We've also got extra 5% health from the thing I chose, and extra 3 happiness from the thing I chose, and extra 2 happiness during sunlight because of the thing I chose. Slacking off, the stew house is 20% less efficient, and the Gathering Hut is less efficient. It is a sunlit jungle, so we won't have any special weather stuff. So it's looking like the Gathering Hut and the Stew House are going to be a bad time. So as you can see with all that stuff, it'll force you to change your strategy. Alright, so what are we starting with our blueprints? Okay. So, I do need to get this stuff to allow me to build early on. Part of me actually wants to get the apiary right at the beginning to give myself a silver quality drink out the get-go. Seems actually pretty good. I do... Well, let's get the apiary. I might regret delaying getting the stuff for that. Of these, the hospital is going to be necessary. The things that cause your wrath to go up, other than missing your orders, is dead bodies unburied and sick people. So that will help with that. Alright, so we got another chance of getting the coal yard. So that actually didn't punish me. Alright, so looking around here, we've got pepper plants, we've got thyme, I've got coal. We got iron. We got mushrooms. But we do not have sand, and we do not have clay, which we'll need for upgrading our buildings later. So that's crude gold. But I'm just trying to figure out what direction we're going to be wanting to go to, because we'll want the sand and the clay as early on as we can get to happen. There's clay. Sand? I'm not seeing sand. I don't know if that's a thing you can run into. I guess in theory you could have a run where you just didn't have one of the resources, but I figured it'd just kind of be there no matter what. I know I've already circled around, I'm just double checking. Because we did see clay to the west, but we didn't see sand anywhere. I don't think there's sand on this map. Okay. Oh, no, there's... Okay. Never mind. That's easier. Okay, we have sand right here. Alright, so we've got sand here. So the first thing we're going to want to open up is that clay. That's going to happen to be honey. And I believe we grabbed the apiary right at the beginning, which was not planned, but, you know, I'm certainly not going to complain about that coincidence. Alright, so we're going to put down the roads, because roads are free. We need some basic buildings to be able to function. So we'll start with the storehouse. Well, you'll have the storehouse here. Yeah, and it doesn't matter which way it's facing. We have the storehouse. We need the market. We need a pantry. We can surround this by road. And then the last thing I'm going to need is the fresco eatery. It does amuse me. It's not just, oh, it's an eatery. It's like, no, it's an fresco eatery. You gotta make sure you're getting the proper stuff here. So we will need the woodcutter. Yeah, this will be fine to start with. Okay, so we gotta put the lumber mill away. If it's nearby other buildings, it doesn't work as well. So we want to put it way by itself. So that means we'll have the wood coming in, and then we can have the sawmill. And I did deliberately prioritize the buildings that I built there. And that's because we have limited amount of wood and everything, so if I build a bunch of other stuff, I can get myself in trouble. So now, with what we got, we can start building some other options so far as food goes. So there's the apiary. And there's a collection of houses, so we have workers. And we're paused for the moment because this is kind of our initial setup with what we've got. Yeah, this will be, well, not put you near there. That'll be our first farm, which we're going to need to have potatoes on. That'll be a second farm, which will put cucumbers on. Okay. So I'll take care of delicious and, if we look at our food, you mouse over it and says this one's a hungry food, And then the cucumbers are a delicious food. And then we built the apiary. The apiary is sweet and thirsty. So that's all 4 food categories handled. Okay, and you need laborers. We did, because we got a bunch set up, get immediately another one. So we can get the sand yard. Let's get that going. Because I am going to need the coal and all that going. We're not quite ready for it quite yet. I could put a gatherer, even though the gatherer is penalized here. This is thyme and pepper, which wouldn't be bad to have early on. But basically the way this game works is at the beginning, where you can... Oh, we don't have a food option. So we gotta go to the restaurant and put what's on the menu. So right now, it is going to be the onions and the blueberries. But basically, you make food items. The better the food items you give your people, the faster they work, the harder they work, all that kind of stuff. So you want to give them good food. At the same time, you have this thing will pop out, and they'll be like, I want silver quality delicious food. And you have to give it silver quality delicious food, or bad things happen. Alright, so for you to be happy, so we need to get you lilac, cut wood, and clothes. I learned the last time I kind of just have to have 2 blocks of houses to realistically have enough workers. But then I also found, while it's got a hard spot in the mid-game, upgrading your existing houses tends to be way better than just going for more. Okay, cool. So, let's get the brickworks. So, with that, once I get the clay available, which is up here, once I get to that, I will be able to make the brick. Because it's brick, windows, and planks that let you build all your buildings. And when you start, you can only make the planks. The other 2 you have to unlock stuff to get to. But we basically unlocked what we need for the bricks, and I've got one of the 2 things I need for the windows. But I kind of delayed some of that going for the apiary, but I'm kind of counting on that honey ending up being a big thing for us. So I think what we'll do is we will unlock this using the honey, and then get the clay and all that ready. And then we can use the potatoes and the cucumbers to satisfy the Dango's first wave of food needs. Okay, so you're gonna want just delicious food. You're gonna want glass and all that. But those are things that, one, they won't get out of the way unless you satisfy their needs, but also they'll give you cash and stuff like that. Alright. So, you want lilac, cut wood, and clothing. Let's start working on that. The lilac is easy. We can just plunk down one of these buildings someplace. I got no spare workers. Right now I'm gonna drop the sawmill down to just 1 person. That'll give me the lilac. The other things you would need is the cut wood we can make pretty easy. That's the woodshed. Alright. Cool. So we're gonna set you back to automatic. And you to automatic for a minute. What'll happen is, as you can see, we're starting to get lilac in here. That'll start giving me the woodshed there, will start giving me the chopped wood. And then we'll just have the clothes. But each time we get one of those satisfies need, this can have up to 5 people in it. Right now it's got 2. Once we get the lilac up there, it'll be 3. We get the chopped wood, it'll go to 4. We get the clothes, it'll be 5. And I'll be able to upgrade it. And so that's just one way to get population without just consuming the whole map's worth of space. Okay, so I'm going to need 100 honey to satisfy that. That's actually pretty steep cost, but not unreasonable, not unmanageable. Let me adjust the ambient sound, like the fog sound is pretty loud. I was just hearing this rushing of wind constantly the whole time. Alright, so in 5 seconds the dango's gonna hatch. And then about 30 seconds after that we're gonna get the first demands. Or it's gonna go demands immediately. Alright, so 150 hunger and delicious. So we're working on it. You can actually get a bunch that's knocked out by dipping into the onions if needed. We'll see based on the potatoes. The potatoes are going to probably be the deciding factor. Whenever that's done, we'll just hit into the onions, because what'll happen is the potatoes will slowly become what we feed our people. And as time goes on, we will unlock special power things and all that. That'll change our run farther, where we'll be able to go and say, well, here's this upgrade and here's that upgrade. I do personally wish we had more options for the grace powers. I do wish there was more grace powers in the game, and maybe as the game goes on we will unlock more. But at least from what I've found, it's like getting the bananas are just really strong because they can kind of fill any gap other than thirst you have. And it's kind of between that and like your raw resources, which is not that big a deal. Now, one other thing is, if you finish feeding them earlier on, you get more from it. So you see where it says like 16 minutes? When you get down to 5 minutes, you don't get as much of a reward from my understanding. Okay. So we can make the stew house, if I recall correctly, on our list of negatives here. On our list of negatives, the stew house on our map will be 20% less efficient than normal. So we do not want to lean on the stew house too hard. The hat, I don't have the materials I need for that. And right now the grease doesn't do me any good. So I'm going to refresh. So cemetery we're going to need later on for burying dead people. So while it doesn't help me in the moment, it is going to be a very necessary thing as the run comes along. So you don't matter until we've got more going on there. Okay. So one thing I'm going to do right away is let's put down an orchard. Let's get apples going. Because you need apples for the hospital. And it gives us another food option. So let's get that going right away. At the moment, we don't have anyone available to work it, but that's fine. Okay, we got another blueprint coming in. This is the glassworks, so we now have everything we need for both the bricks and the windows. So we don't have to worry about getting locked out of that. Alright, and we've got enough of the delicious food there. And enough of the hunger. So we're going to feed the dongo its meal. And that's its first demands met. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and choose the timber yard between these ones, because the render and the timber yard can be useful. The timber yard, I don't have to do anything. I just get extra from it. And that worked out because we also got the carpenter's thing, which gets us the buttons, which is what you use the lumber from the timber yard for. Which does mean I'm on good path for getting the hat. So you need clothing. So clothing is going to be even more workers. So what we're going to need is, I'm going to need a couple of buildings. I'm going to need a livestock pasture. It's going to be sheep. And that'll get me that part. Now the second part of that is I will need a stockyard. We don't really know where I want to put it. And then the stockyard is going to process those sheep into wool. And then the last thing will be the tailor. And then the tailor will take that to make clothing. And once that gets going, the population should increase some more. But again, we're having a problem with not enough people. So what we're going to go ahead and do over here is going to drop you down to just one employee for the firewood right now. Just one employee for the sheep. One employee for the sawmill. And that gives me all the employees I need over there. And so with that, then I'll tell them you can just, you know, have all the employees you'd like. Oh, and every once in a while, the Dongo will give us a buff. So our residents have that, and all that's kind of randomized what you get. And all that can play into your strategy for the run. Okay, so that should start getting us our tailored stuff. And once we start getting our tailored clothes, we're going to get another, what is that, 12 people to help fill out our ranks. And then we upgrade the buildings and we'll get even more. How are we doing here? So, we've got patients and corpses. So, and this isn't that I've done anything wrong. You just have kind of, for your population, you will have a steady stream of people who will pass away as the run goes on. Which is why you need to, pretty early on, have your hospital and your cemetery. We put the hospital over here. And then I'm going to put the cemetery right next to it. And at this stage, I really kind of need to get this unlocked so that we can start getting our brick in, because we're down to 23 brick, and the buildings I need to make brick do cost brick in themselves. Okay. Okay, orchards are more efficient. Which mostly just affects the apples for now, but that's fine. Okay, and you're slowly still eating through those. That's alright in its own right. And then after a while, the Dongo will go to sleep, at which point we'll get, you know, 3 wishes. 3 things that Dongo wants to have us fulfill that we're not punished for not doing it, but realistically you're probably not winning unless you do them. So they kind of help you with that. Alright, so we're getting pretty close now to getting our first round of upgrades from getting our next 12 people. How are we doing on the apiary? Alright, we're at 66, and I need 100 honey to open up where the clay is. Okay, we just had the menu items ran out. Okay, so take those off the menu, put these on the menu. So we're now eating the potatoes and the zucchini. Weight loss campaign. Following the food festival, many residents gained weight. A town-wide health and fitness initiative has been launched. So if we accept this, they want any of these supplies to a certain amount, 200 units, and we'll have 15 minutes to do it. If we fail, we instantly throw 10 wrath on, which again, 80 wrath is losing, so that's 1/8 of the way to an instant loss. If we win, we get a grace power, which just buffs us. I am going to accept that, but I'm going to deliberately milk the clock down to like 1 minute before I accept it. And then go from there. Okay, and now we can start upgrading our houses. So I'm just going to go right across the grid. Boom. We just upgraded everything. So we're going to get a bump in number of people, and then we would need to get either a church, towels, or hats to get more. The hats being the easiest one to pull off because I've already got the wood, and we just need the buttons. Or sorry, we already have the wood and the buttons, I just need the actual thing for making the hat. Alright, well we did get the textile. So textile mill will let us get the blank things. Alright, so now that Dongo's gone to sleep, we get our wishes here. So one of those wishes, so we got one wish to just do enough trade. We've got a wish to get enough lavender. We've got a wish to get enough coffee beans. I've got an area right there with lavender. I just got to put a place to forage it so we can just get that. The second wish is they want me to get either enough sugar cane, enough milk and carrots, or enough wells. The sugar cane will be the easiest one to do because I could just plant some sugar cane. And then the last one is to harvest enough mushrooms, do enough trade, or that. It's probably going to be the trade. We do have mushrooms up here, but I'm already going to be putting a harvesting or a gathering place in the bottom. And I don't think I want both unless we get a recipe. So those are the 3 objectives to do. We won't be worrying about those immediately. So you can do the textile place. We gotta tuck that back there. Oh, did I not? I shorted one tile. Alright, so textile place will get us the fabric to get everyone boosted up even more. Get us even more workers. Oh, and when we upgraded these, it changed the workers from being the laborers to artisans, and basically what that means, they just work faster. Okay, how's the honey going? 74. That's pretty good. Alright. So I need more people is what I need. But in lieu of that, we can get the gathering hut. We can plunk it right there for right now. Gonna put 2 on the thyme and 1 on the black pepper. We don't see a reason not to. Now, there's no workers available for it, but when we get them, it'll handle itself. Now, the next thing is that clay right there. I already have clay. I miss that there's clay hidden right there. And I boxed it in where it's going to be real hard to do anything with it. We'll figure this out. There's going to be finagling. But that means I don't even need to open that area up there right away. Which means what I can do is honey is now on the menu. To help you through that. Alright, let's go ahead and accept this before time runs out. And I'm not using the beeswax for anything, or that. We just gotta wait for more materials to come in. I got 15 minutes to take care of it. Now, we need a mine. So unfortunately that mine, while I'd love to fit it there, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's another one that would take honey. That takes the potatoes. Alright. So, to get the clay, I need this to be in range of the clay. Now, I can't get in range of both the coal and the clay. That is one unfortunate thing where I'm seeing all these materials. None of them can I get them in range of both at the same time. Okay. So this is a good one. That gives me the hat. So that means if we build a carpenter, I can go and do the hats, which is another one of these things to make us get more people. And we actually have spare people now. Alright, can I move the entire grove itself? I believe there was the ability to just straight up move stuff. Okay, that's fine. So we got that moved. So now we could go over here and say mine. You get clay. We can go down here and say mine. And you get the coal. And then we can get the brick, the person making the brick. And that's what it takes to make the brick. Obviously, I'm short on employees again, because existence is pain. And you're gonna make buttons. Because we get you making buttons, and you can make hats, and that'll be another round of upgrades. Alright, so I need to get more people onto the other jobs. So I'm gonna drop you down to just one artisan. I want to re-roll that. I'm hoping for better. Okay, so the brewery gets me a better quality beverage. Honestly, any of these would be good. Let's go for the brewery. That way I can handle thirst a bit better. But we're gonna wait to actually do anything with that. So I got you drop down. This mine, we're gonna drop that down. This mine, we're gonna drop that down to 1. We're gonna drop this down to 1. And then that gets me a full group of employees for the buttons. Now we can turn all this back on to max them all out. Because as you can see, that's a lot of employees. But our population is going up because we did get the towels. So we did get a bunch more people. Okay. Now, for our objectives up here, we got the time going. I need to get the Merchants Guild going. Which is fortunately just resources. So this time for the relics we can get is each time you refresh the Merchants Guild, randomly increase 1 refresh chance of blueprints and all that. Pew pew kaboom. Each building fire increases order by 1 for 2 minutes. Sculpture gains 0.5 contentment gauge for each master dwelling in the culinary villa of town. Buildings require 1 less plank to construct. This one feels like you could potentially abuse that, because that contentment is basically your win condition. The thing I need to do is, if I can remember how to do this, because it's been more than 5 seconds. There is a... Oh, okay. So they just changed the UI since the last time I played. Alright. Or I unlocked something and forgot about it. So as far as the things we can unlock, we're going to start selling the planks. Yes, they added a limit. The only thing I'm not clear is, like, the limit is how low to go, maybe? Which will tell them don't go lower than 30, maybe? I'm not clear on that UI. Oh, you don't have a road that goes to you? Yeah, that'll be a problem, wouldn't it? Well, I had planned to use that 2x2 spot. It's fine. We just wedge that in there. We can always move it later if it's a problem. Alright, so we're waiting on these first rounds of buttons to come in, which will then get us the hats. And once we get the hats in, those will get out here, and that'll give me another 12 people to work with. Meanwhile, I also want to stay on top of this to make sure we succeed at that, because we haven't gotten ourselves a Grace Power yet, which I vaguely remember by the time we got to our second one in our last run, that I was sitting on like 3 Grace Powers. Okay, so first objective done, first wish. So there's our first Grace Power there. Alright, so Grace Power. So we can have it where, when mining, we have a chance of getting a unit of clay, a unit of sand, and a unit of iron ore. We can greatly increase the duration of fog, which we do have a thing during fog where we have food stolen, so we don't want to do that. We can also increase the output of our blacksmith, woodshed, smeltery, rendery, and coal yard. In this particular case, I'm actually going to take the mine retrofit, because I feel like that's just going to kind of help us out there, and if we get surplus, it's fine. Alright, so this helps out with later recipes, and this helps out with later recipes. Neither are immediately important within themselves, because you can't eat those as final goods. I'm going to get the farm upgrade, because it doesn't require me to build anything new, and it gives me more options down the road. So I want to make sure we're working on these objectives. We are working on getting the trade done. The other one I need is the farm. So let's go ahead and build another farm down here. And I'm going to set you to be sugarcane, because we have the objective of planting a bunch of sugarcane, or growing a bunch of sugarcane. I'm not too fussed about how long it takes, so long as they do eventually get to it. Alright, we've got the other event, which will give me another Grace Power. I just noticed you were all complaining about hunger, which is not great. Oh man, they are not kidding about the food consumption increase. I'm gonna just need spare farms to feed them. Which wouldn't be that big a deal, except usually I am struggling with that, and I also need to make sure I have enough food for Dango. Alright, we're almost done with this one. Okay. We're keeping those coming in. We're definitely going to need to manage our population better. And look to see like what we're getting a surplus of. Which, now that we've got this done, let's go ahead and knock you down to just one person at the gathering hut. Because I want to be a non-zero amount of that coming in. I just don't know how much we want. That was enough to get some people working on the sugarcane, which will help a bit. Okay, so we finished the weight loss campaign event. Alright. So, the orchards get an extra 30% chance, orchards gain a 30% chance to produce 1 banana per output. The bananas I found to be incredibly powerful. It's just extra food, and you can get it to take up so many different groups. That it almost tempts you to just go hard on the orchards, but you gotta kind of temper that a little bit, unfortunately. Okay. We don't have any spare workers, but we are managing okay with that. How are we doing on some of our resources? So, coal we're actually doing really well. Clay we're doing really well. Let's bump down the coal and the clay a bit. And that gives me a couple of extra workers. So with that, let's go ahead and get another farm going. And this one is going to be wheat. And then with a wheat farm going, I want a brewery. Because that'll give us another thing. So we have a spice competition. You want 200 potatoes. That's going to be really hard to manage. The tavern will make our people happy, which will make them work harder. We did get enough trade done. So better production on you. Oh, we're in so bad of shape. Oh, we are in terrible shape. Okay. So this is probably going to be our first failure, because I have 0 spare food. And that's with our people practically starving. So I gotta readjust my expectations. I gotta readjust my expectations a lot. With the setup we have here. So you're doing potatoes. Just all of it. And you are going to do more cucumbers. Just all of it. Actually, you're considered delicious? Okay, you'll do the lettuce. So at least we're mixing it up a bit. I need you to stop eating potatoes. They're off limits now. I still have a couple spare people, and if I have spare people, they're getting to work. So I'll have you making onions. I changed my mind, you're also doing potatoes. Because we have this objective here, I would like to do as well. So I'm going to go really, really hard on growing as much as food as I can. The issue is this is all going to be low-quality food. And I'm watching this pulse every couple seconds being like, hey, we're hungry. Hey, we're hungry. And I don't have a solution to that problem. Look, man. You can eat the bananas. I don't want you to eat the bananas, but you can eat the bananas. Yeah, so definitely with this one, we have to really, really lean in on the art stuff. Okay, less of you. Less of you. Less of you. That's fine. Alright, so that gives me not quite enough. So that gave me enough to basically fill in the already existing farms to ramp them up as much as possible. Okay, I'm going to let this get down to its last little bit, and then I'm going to accept it. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. Okay, you're running out of firewood, which is not part of the plan. We have the workers, we don't have the wood. So the sawmill, we're going to get a bunch of people off the sawmill. Because I definitely need all those workers. What was the ping? Oh, we finished this. Alright, meanwhile, you're also on potatoes. Let's see. The banana counts as a pastry now. Okay, we're just doing our best to throw all the food we can at this. I think we'll be fine for this one. I'm mostly worried about the starvation. That I'm just watching this thing pulse again and again. So take you off of that, put you on beer. We just need so much more food. I underestimated how much just that extra like 20% food consumption has just utterly wrecked the entire approach I've had before. I did mention it's going to be rough. I didn't anticipate it being as significant of an impact. I know, you're hungry. I'm trying to get you all the food I can, but the dongo comes first. Okay, I've got a couple spare workers. Alright, so what are we doing for even more food for the spare workers? I can toss in the oranges and all that. Now the problem I'm going to run in here is while we're getting that all up and running, I need recipes. And we haven't gotten a recipe yet. And that is a pretty big problem. So yeah, so you're working on that. So artifact-wise, we're not going to worry about that. I don't really worry about that. Okay, recipe. Work with me here. So, okay. For the donut, I have 3 more buildings I need. For this, I have 3 more buildings I need. That's 2 more buildings I need. And you will cover delicious, you cover hunger and sweet, and you cover sweet. So we're going to grab the... Actually, I'm going to refresh is what I'm going to do. Grilled lamb covers delicious. Carrots cover delicious. The bread covers hungry. I'm going to refresh this again. So that's only a blue one. Covers delicious. We'll just grab the donut. I don't have half of what I need to get there, which is going to be a problem. But if we can get that far, that'll go a long way. There's more delicious, more potato. Look, man, I need you to manage. Okay. We can let the oranges build up a little bit. Okay, you're on oranges now. I've got a couple of spare workers. So apparently this is the hell we live in now, which is that I'm going to constantly need to be escalating food as aggressively as I possibly can, just to make it to the other side of the tunnel. All right. Another apiary could be just set to honey and nothing else. Let's see here. We could go with the livestock and start making something like bacon. Well, that's actually a bad idea. Never mind that one. The reason that's a bad idea is with the livestock, I have to have the other building to support it. I can't get the food directly. So right now, you can put you down. And I will grab a field of onions. Okay. We got all our spare workers back on it. There's so much more delicious we need. Alright, we're handling the other one. Let's switch you. You need to be set to delicious. What are you considered? You're considered delicious. That's fine. Onion is fine. We're gonna need to switch more of this over relatively soon. And by that I mean I'm going to stare at these people and go, I can't help you. You want too much. Have the bananas. I'm just juggling them between stuff. I have trace amounts from just trying to keep them satisfied. Okay, so the potatoes are done there. So now I work on the other one to get another boon. Stop being hungry. Have you considered not being hungry? I'm gonna really need you to work on this not eating thing. Alright, once that's done, we can start flipping some of these fields over to spread out the food groups to hopefully keep our people fed and happy for a while. Alright, so you're running out of that. Trying to get you switched over to the potatoes as well. Cool. So I finished that objective. Alright, so this increases the production rate. Let's see. We'll go ahead and get the thing that keeps getting us more and more of the coal and all that. We cut those down to only having one building each. Yeah, so you're now on potatoes and all that. So that should help pad out the food a little bit. When Dongo goes to sleep after we get them fed, then we'll get more wishes to fulfill. Alright, I'm slowly like bouncing back and forth from having a couple spare people or not. Now, the big problem we've got coming up is after this sleep, Donga will no longer accept silver quality food. It has to be at least the green quality. And that is going to be a real big problem. Just because, you know, I am ultimately going to need to have some supply of better quality food, and we don't have that figured out yet. The best I can do is the bananas. Is what I got right now. Realistically, to do that, I'm going to have to tear down a bunch of these farms and just go really hard on the orchards. And then hope we get the things to make the bananas cover more food groups. And then between the beer and the bananas, get through it. Which is doable. Probably not the best way. Okay, so there's the Dongo's food. Right. Okay. So, for what we're looking at doing, let me refresh. We did get the mill. That's one of the things we need for those donuts. We did not get the other thing we need for it. The stew house is nerfed in this run, so I'm going to grab the well. It'll make a couple of our people happy, so, you know, sure. We've got the tavern. Right now, plunk that up here. Do I have you stop drinking the beer, which you already have? That'll give everyone a mood bonus, which will help them work a little bit better. Alright, so what am I having you actually go with? So right now you've got the potatoes for hungry. You'll leave the whole range there for right now. That's fine. Now, the mill doesn't matter until I get all the stuff together, so we can get a recipe out of it. Meanwhile, how are you doing on money? You got $1,000 just about. Once we hit 1,000, we're gonna buy the next building, and hopefully we get lucky and we get a step closer to making donuts. Or at least any higher quality food. Because right now, I have nothing I can make that's beyond silver. That's not true. I can make beer. I can make beer, so I can hover the thirst group and nothing else. Okay, you need to stop eating apples. I need those apples for other things. Here, you can have cucumbers. Okay, farm efficiency is plus 20%. I also just realized I'm not producing the sand stuff, so we have to get that online. Which unfortunately is falling behind because of the brick stuff. So you're waiting on... Oh, you don't have anyone working at all. Yeah, so what's happening is anytime the population goes down, it's taking laborers away from those buildings, which is then causing them to not function. Because it doesn't put them back. Because then I'll need a mine to get sand, I'll need a glassworks, and all that. Hey, Nightdweller, how's it going? So where can I put you to make you... I mean, what I need to do is get that second brick real quick. And when we get our second brick, we can do that. Do we have... We have the charcoal place, right? Am I losing my mind? Because you... I don't think we did build the coal place. Crap. That means I need to reclaim a brick somewhere. Did you cost me a brick to build? Congratulations. I had done goofed. That's why we're not getting any of that stuff sorted. We literally weren't making the materials I needed. Alright, laborers are now slightly happier. I do kind of wish we had better visibility on resources, like I could pin a bunch of resources here or over here, so I could monitor them better. So like I could go here and be like, potatoes, where are you at? And be able to see the potatoes up here. Like, I have this whole thing, but like I want visibility. Because that's gonna have us in some kind, like in some trouble here. That explains why I was getting such a surplus of clay, and I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I'm getting such a surplus of clay and coal, because I wasn't using it. But now we should be able to start producing bricks. And we'll need to get the stuff needed for getting the windows going. Alright, so you're about to go to bed. And really hoping we can get some goodies here. Meanwhile, I still don't understand this new screen here. Oh, okay, so you're below the amount of planks, which is why we're not making money. Because there's no planks to be sold. I don't want to sell the windows or the clothes or any of that stuff yet. I could sell the spare buttons. So we could go here, take you off, put you on, and set you to have a limit. Do not go below 10 buttons. Use that to bring in a little bit more money, so we could hopefully buy some more blueprints. Okay, and we are ready to go here. Blueprint. What do you got for me? The bakery would let me handle hunger at the green quality. Normally I haven't done that, but we're in a situation where I kind of need it. So I'm going to need to wait for one brick to get the mill and a second brick to get the bakery to start making bread. Alright, so here comes our new wishes. First wish. You would like oranges. I'm already growing those. No problem. Second wish. You would like wool. I have tons of wool to spare. There's your wool. Alright, so with this, we can expand our orchard, the smeltery, or the rendery. I'm going to choose the orchard, even though I don't know if we're going to end up needing that. Alright, Gonna refresh that. We'll get the monkey party, which just means there's monkeys that run around that will boost the efficiency of people just a tiny bit. And now for the oranges, we're going to go here. Oranges are off the menu. You can't have them anymore. And instead you can have lettuce. You're welcome. Okay, so we've got the winter coming through causing grief for us. You are producing brick now. I'm going to drop you down to just one person working on the coal. Alright, so it looks like we're in for snow, then fog, then a sunny day, then back to snow. But as soon as I get those bricks done, that should be enough for me to get the mill and the bakery up. And with the mill and the bakery up, that should be enough for me to get at least green hunger. So that'd give us thirst and hunger handled, but not sweet or thirst. Or sorry, not sweet or delicious. Which the good news is if we get the donuts up, they cover sweet and delicious all the way up to the purple rank. Meanwhile, how are you doing? Yeah, they changed this UI on me and it just threw me. Oh, I put up the worker uniform. I didn't mean to do that. I actually meant to put up the buttons and limit the buttons to just 10. It's still fine. But the point is I need to keep rotating through stuff to trade away Okay, now we're moving into the fog, so the ghosts are going to scare my people. Which decreases our people's happiness. And I could do nothing about it. We're just going to chill and endure it. It's looking like I'm going to need to get in our place for lilacs going. Which sucks, because that's more brick I can't really spare. Oh my god, it takes the brick forever to be produced. I know I have not many people on it, but still. Yeah, so I'm going to have 4 brick, so it'll be 2 for the lilac, and I think it's 1 for the windmill and 1 for the, 1 for the bakery. Because I need them all. If the lilac runs out, the population goes down. Which is catastrophic. Oh, there is a suspend building button. Okay, so the brick is on the move. I just need to wait till it gets a storehouse, and then we can start building stuff. So greenhouse. How are we doing the lilac? We're basically out of lilac. Okay. So I don't really get a choice. That'll take care of the lilac. That's 2 brick gone. Next, let's get the mill. And for right now, the mill's just going to get plunked right there. What are your complaints? No nearby storehouse. I can fix that easy enough, maybe. Don't cost a lot, don't cost a lot. Thank goodness you only cost planks. Alright, and then with that, we can go ahead and put the bakery right next to it. And I really need to make a road that goes around the other way before this gets too out of hand. Alright, so you need employees. We need chefs. Right, I need chefs. We don't have any chefs yet. So that's a cook's quarters. So that'll upgrade and let me get some extra cooks. So at least that's some people working at the bakery. And now I need to make sure we actually get some laborers at the mill. So I need to spare people somewhere. Could drop that down to nothing and then back up. And that puts some people in the mill. Alright, so that means we're producing at least green quality hunger, green quality thirst. Okay, and we finished the oranges. We're going to bump the bananas up a quality. Alright, so we can switch you over to the oranges again. Okay, so we're producing bread now. So I still need sugar and the candy shop to make the donuts. I also desperately need to get windows being made because we're running out of those. The population doesn't go down when there's not enough food, huh? Yep, well, it's actually that and when there's not enough lilacs. So we need a church to make these more upgraded. That's gonna depend on us getting lucky and having the right buildings. Alright, so you're tapped out. You're tapped out. I've got spare clay. So let's go here. You can take the clay down to 20. The clay's worthless. What am I doing? Export price. So we can't spare the windows. I could spare some coal. Let them go down to 15 coal. We're definitely going to need more buildings for housing, which is going to increase our food demand, which is already pretty untenable. So I could probably do is I just realized I got tons of potatoes. Let's work on some of these problems. Alright, Nitro, you take it easy. Thank you for tuning in and all that. I'm gonna let them catch up on this a bit. Okay, you've already gotten rid of all that we can afford to. Don't get rid of more than down to 10. And we're about to be asked for food that I can't possibly accommodate. It's a great feeling. I'm trying to get that last little bit of money so I can hopefully get another recipe that might save the day. Because we can't get the 2 buildings I need to finish donuts, but I might be able to get 1. The other possibility is, if I'm smart... Oh, that's a new one, I believe. Oh, it's all the food groups. Okay. So, this is a big problem. So what we're going to do is, what are you eating right now? You're not eating the cucumber? These 2 farms are gone. And we're going to put in place an orchard. And for the moment, I don't really care what you grow. It doesn't really matter, because all of this is sweet. Everything that isn't a raw ingredient here is going to be under the sweet category. So for my purposes, they're all the same. And next to that orchard, I'm going to build an orchard. Because the only way I could possibly save this is just kind of going all in on the banana. And then that means this farm over here, you're done. So that gives me enough workers for this. So, the banana is going to carry this, maybe. We might actually be okay because of how hard I'm going on the banana. Might not be as disastrous as I thought it was, because I had more bananas to spare than I realized. We can take you off that, put you on the onions. Take you off this. We did ramp up the production. We did ramp up the production of apples, so I'll put you on apples for a minute. Okay, still have 3 more fields of potatoes. So let's go ahead and get another orchard going. And so then this field of potatoes is gone. To show real value of bananas, you should be measuring your orchard in lengths by bananas. Yep. It's the only reasonable way to handle it. Okay, and what else? So you're surviving on the potatoes and the onions. The onions will run out soon. So same deal, we're gonna build yet another orchard. So get rid of this. And this will be for oranges. So we're trying to go all in on the orchard and the bananas. Because that's the only thing I have that satisfies the blue quality. I think we're eventually going to go up to purple quality, but my hope is that we'll be able to get the donut production online in time for purple, which I believe handles delicious and sweet. And then we don't have an answer for the drinks, and we don't have an answer for the hunger. If I'm remembering correctly. Okay, so you've got enough money to unlock more things. So let's go ahead and buy another blueprint. None of this is what I needed. This only matters if I get another building, so we're getting the rendery, because that's the only thing I can put to use there. But I don't have anything that's going to use its its products yet. I don't have any recipes, so we're not going to build it. Because to upgrade, we need the church. Okay, so we got you your food. Oh, 5, thank you. Okay, so that's for the church. We're gonna get that. That is the church. We're definitely gonna get that. Out of these things here, I'll grab the leather. We can get the cake tower. That doesn't immediately help me, but it can potentially get me recipe places. Okay, so spicery gives me sugar. That is one of the buildings I do need towards making the donuts. So that means all I'm missing for the donuts is just the candy shop. We get the candy shop, I have everything I need for donuts. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is for the church to be functional, I need candles. And for the candles to be functional, I need... I don't remember what I need. I think it's the beeswax and the render stuff. Yes. So with that to be functional, I need a couple more planks. Do I have anyone sawing planks? Is that what's going on? No, I do not. Nor do I have spare people to work on it. So prevent that from taking people. I'm gonna have to build more houses. I've been trying to avoid building more houses. there is another house. Okay. Maximum durability of buildings has gone up. Not very important to me. What am I putting? Who's going on that? The bakery, the flour mill. Those could probably stay fully staffed. You're already set down to 1. The textiles are staying busy, so we'll probably leave that turned up. The Merchants Guild doesn't have staff. The buttons, we're gonna take that down 1. Okay, we got someone working the lumber mill. This house just upgraded, which did give me another unit here. Crap, I don't need any of these things. There's the smeltery just to get it off the list because it keeps showing up. So, I'm gonna need people here. I do have some spare artisans now. So, I don't remember what building we just took people away from. It was the button place, right? There you go. I will need someone to work at the rendery, which is waiting on the planks. The brewery is waiting on wheat. So let's try and get that solved. So you're on wheat now. You're no longer getting lettuce or this, so don't forget. Don't worry about that. Get the honey, get the oranges, stop using the apples. Stew house is now more efficient. So technically with the penalty in that, the stew house would now be slightly more efficient than its base value. But, you know, I couldn't have counted on that when we were making all of our plans. Okay, so you need a person. You need a person. And now I need to add a livestock. And you're gonna have pigs. Then we're gonna go here. You turn the pigs into bacon. Or I guess technically it's pork. And then the pork will become the fat, which will become the candles. And then with all of that done, when I get a couple more planks, I will be able to make the church. Which will let us boost the number of people, and then we will run into the problem of the fact that I am not producing windows in my entire place, nor do I have enough windows to really do half of what I need to. And that is deeply upsetting and going to be a major problem, and I'm not ready for it, and I can do nothing about it. So, cool. I guess. But there's a church. Once we get our first candles out of there, all of these houses will be start getting ready to upgrade. So for any of that to matter, I need a mine, which is 1 window, a sand yard, which doesn't take windows, and a glasswork, which takes 3 windows. That's all 4 windows are reserved for fixing that. And meanwhile, for the wishes, we can do some trade or a bunch of stuff I can't do, so trade it is. Or we can do trade or a bunch of stuff I can't do, so trade it is. So let's double check to make sure you're set up trade-wise. Export. No more wool sales. We could sell buttons again. Don't go below 10. Okay. So the first on the list is going to be the mine. It's got to be down here because the sand is right there. So I'll put a little path right here. put a little path back here, I guess. I definitely am going to need a new storehouse to deal with this problem. But that is what it is. So as soon as we get the next round of wood out of there, then we should be good. And the export will slowly tick away. So making sure you actually have people at you. You have a person singular at you. Double checking to make sure you've got a full group. And you have someone at you, so that's good. We definitely need the boost in people. Alright, so with that, we are ready now for the mine. You're one tile out of range. I can make that work. Cool, and set you for the sand. And then we would need more stuff for the planks. I do have it opened up to take people as we get spares. How much does a house? Don't cost a window. Cool. You do not cost a window, which is very important right now, unfortunately. So we put 2 more houses down, get ourselves a couple of extra workers. So limp back into what I need. I need to not upgrade the house, though. Oh, also, you need no storehouse nearby. Don't cost a window. Don't cost a window. Okay, you just need planks. Okay. And how are you doing on my sales? You're out of buttons. Flour. Do not go below 20. Also, you've got... How much money is for the next building? 3,000. Okay, so we're getting the first of our rendered fat, and once we have that, it'll be time for the handcrafted. Do not upgrade the building. The temptation is real. But I need all those materials for getting this handled. So now I need a sand yard. I need a storehouse, which you don't have planks for. And I need a glassworks. You don't need those producing fast, you just need them producing at all. You know, honestly, I changed my mind. Automatic. Automatic. Do your best. Until we have the next thing, that's fine. Alright, Chan, bear with me. I need to use the restroom real fast, so I'm going to quickly do that. And thank you again for tuning in, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Thank you again for tuning in. Alright, and we are back. Okay. So we got the infrastructure set up for starting to get the glass. I need one more building. Two more buildings. Wait. Yeah. Two more buildings going here. But I need more planks for it, which has been a perpetual problem. We are getting our trade done for the 2 wishless items, which will be good. As an added bonus, we can keep that up. That'll also get me what I need for unlocking our building. Okay, so now I need a glass works. So with this, I do have everything I need to be able to produce the windows. So, from there, the only thing I have left that I need is a storehouse so it stops complaining, which is just waiting on planks. And the church should be getting candles. Yeah, we're making the candles now. We're gonna go ahead and put you on automatic to take those extra laborers so you make the candles faster. But once I start getting those windows, I can afford to add more people to my population, which I really need. Because I got a lot of these buildings are operating on a skeleton crew. And the bananas can carry us a certain amount. The problem is the next upgrade, I don't have anything that handles thirst that's good enough for that. So I gotta get more recipes. Alright, so there's the storehouse. Put you over here. That can handle all the glass stuff. Okay. And so slowly they should be able to start making those windows, which will let me start upgrading the houses and all that. Okay, 2 recipes. Love to see it. Alright, none of these help us immediately. I'm gonna grab the black malt, because there is a chance I could get the better beer recipe out of that. And this doesn't do crap for me. Sure. Okay, and we've reached the point with the artisans' dwellings that if we get the glass, we can just upgrade all of it. So we need a couple more housing to boost our workers. Okay, you're set to automatic, you're set to automatic. Let's plan for the glass stuff to go to automatic. Because we're gonna have a ton of upgrades coming in that I'm just going to need as many things that I can throw at it. We'll also set the carpenter to automatic. So it's going to be one of those things of just upgrade one place, upgrade the next place, upgrade the next place, get more people in, and then watch everything go to crap when everyone wants to eat and we don't have the food to support it. Here, you can eat those cucumbers that I forgot we were still growing. Where are those cucumbers? Maybe those aren't still being grown. Maybe those are just surplus. Alright, now we can see how bad this is, because I got plenty of bananas. But we haven't had the opportunity to get any kind of a drink. Okay. That didn't help us at all. Refresh. Dark beer. Okay. That works. That works. Where is our brewery? Meanwhile, I believe I'm already covering that use case. Where is my brewery? Okay, you only need green quality. That's what I got for you right now. There's the bananas. Okay, so amusingly enough, the bakery is not needed anymore. Where is the brewery? Oh, you're way over there, that's right. So you're also doing the dark beer now. And honestly... Oh, is that not actually connected to the road? That's fine. Upgrading the houses. Okay, new brew. Look, I'll take care of you in a minute, man. Yeah, so I think I'm going to shut down the bakery for now. Get them out of there. My chefs have a negative health. That's not ideal. And the reason I shut down the bakery, they don't really need those foods. With the bananas being such a major part of it. Oh, you're just laborers, that's right. Alright, so I don't have remotely any of the other things it wants for these upgraded houses. Meanwhile, let's check on you. So exports. You're still exporting flour. You've got more buttons. Yeah, so you export 12 a minute. That'll just have to do. You're working on it. And meanwhile, we have 300 bucks. Be good to get our stuff. Alright, so our planks are in pretty good shape. Let's get people off the plank. Well, actually, I don't need to get people off the planks. I've got spare jobs now. So what we want to do is we've got our brewskis going here and here. We do want to bring in even more flour. So let me go ahead and run this. Oh, we got a heat wave going on. So flour. Cool. Okay. So I put a bunch of the laborers on making even more flour. And the other one I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and do orchard, apples, and one more apple orchard. Keep those bananas going and all that. Okay, we're almost done with all those. I am going to accept the new brew, because I should be able to get that done after this stuff. Meanwhile, you can have a bunch of bread. Get out of here, awful plant. Which makes our people a little bit happier. That building is on fire. Which is real unfortunate, because I do not have a building to put out fires. Which I'm correcting immediately. Please, please, for the love of everything, get those fire trucks out here. Alright, food is getting low. We can swip you off of oranges to apples. That'll give a bunch of food for now. The fire trucks are on their way, putting out the fires, I think. Okay, we can just get a little bit more, we can get that squared away. Okay, the fire trucks are almost in range to deal with their stuff. Okay, we got the next meal for Dango all sorted out. We're just making beer and bananas. Alright, so, candy shop. So we can get our donuts now. There's the fountain. There's the leather shoes. I don't know if we're gonna actually make the mirror thing, but we got that too. Alright, so the candy house needs to happen. Can put that there. That also means I will need the spicery, which is gonna go there. You're producing sugar. You're producing donuts. Meanwhile, before we upgrade that, I need more chefs now. We'll start with the extra chefs, which gave me a new recipe, none of which I even care about remotely because, dear goodness, those recipes are involved. Sure, get it out of here. So I've got that. So the next thing I need is I need a new farm making sugarcane. As soon as I figure out where the heck I'm fitting that. So here's a farm. Sugarcane. Get to growing. So we should be able to get the donuts going, so we're going to want to ramp up that and bananas. That, bananas, and beer. That's some kind of slogan that certainly is concerning. Am I at the point I'm overwhelming the lavender again? Or lilac? Not lavender. Lilac. Play it safe. Okay. Residents' happiness is up. Love to see it. Are continuing to produce the beer and all that. Our buildings are slowly getting repaired. Yeah, so you're waiting on sugar, flour... Oh, eggs. I'm glad I double-checked that. We need to be making eggs. I'm not doing that yet, and that's going to have to be a thing that happens. So, livestock, I could get 2 fields for eggs there, but I can get 3 up here. And then more than likely I'm going to need an extra building over here for the stockyard. So you're now doing eggs. Don't worry about the wool. Eggs and pork. So that should be all those materials. And I stopped tearing that up. And that should give you everything you need. And you're making your sugar now. So once we get the eggs in there, that should be enough to start making the donuts. The problem is needing more workers, which we're working on. That's fine. Meanwhile, how are you doing? Exports. You still have flour on the export. Let's take that off and go for some of higher value. So we are getting tons of spare glass, which is actually going to work out pretty well. So we'll allow ourselves to get down to 5 glass. Because we need to get these 2 done, because those will give me more buildings and recipes and all that good stuff. This looks cozy. Is there a world map for this? No, so this is very Against the Storm-like. So it is a rogue-light city builder that's heavily based around food, where this thing will demand food. And if you give it its food, it'll give you bonuses, like it's doing right this second. But if you fail to, it gets full of more wrath. And so you have like how content it is and how much wrath it has. If the wrath fills up, you lose. If the contentment fills up, you win. But it is fairly adorable, but also can get pretty rough at times. We're holding in here. This is actually going relatively well. We got a pretty strong lead on the wrath, but still. Alright, let's keep upgrading our houses, bringing in more people. Okay, we can get the leather shoes going. Oh, no, I can't. I need the dyes for that, and we don't have the dyes. Yeah, so I can't do crap about any of that stuff. Alright, so we need more housing. I was anticipating getting more people from that stuff, and then forgot I need dyes and a bunch of that, and we are not ready for that. Okay, so we got these 2 done. Okay. So, the hauling people, the dum-dums, will go 30% faster. That's going to be huge for us. And we can get the grumpy monkey, who will make it so we can handle more wrath, but it will eat some of our food. Okay, there's more houses. We start bringing in more people. Okay, and I finished the new brew quest. So we're gonna go ahead and get the Grumpy Monkey 2, which makes our food buildings produce extra fast, but also if people aren't fed well, they will get much fussier about it. We're gonna switch off potatoes and put them on oranges because I don't have enough potatoes to keep them happy. Please tell me you're actually getting some donuts done. What are you waiting on? So you're producing the sugar. Okay. You are producing the eggs. Alright, and he went to sleep, so we got more missions we could do. Okay, this sucks, is what this is. I can do none of these. Alright, so this is the one most likely I'll be able to get done, because I have all the unlocks but the Swiss roll itself. But I don't have any of those things. Which is why I was like, this sucks. Okay, so you've already sold all the glass I can get you to sell. We have plenty of spare buttons. So let's go ahead and set you to 10 and start selling all our extra buttons. And if we can get a couple of spare cooks and all that going, I think we could afford to turn this building back on. I'm deliberately trying to upgrade the chef's place. I don't have all that stuff ready. Okay, new recipe. Not that I'm gonna make the lollipops or anything like that, but we'll just grab recipes, get them out of the way, because I desperately need more workers. I desperately need more everything. Yeah, because I can make the shoes if I get the dyes. Okay, it looks like I at least have a couple of spare workers now of both types, so that's good news. How are we doing on firewood? 85 and going down. Let's go ahead and bump down the number of workers there to 2. Alright, so what else do we got going on here? We don't have the cake place, which doesn't really solve our immediate problems anyways. The smeltery doesn't solve our immediate problems anyways. We already have a carpenter. We don't have the smeltery is the only one we're missing from there. The cake tower is the only one I'm missing from here. We don't have a gathering hut going because I'm not using any of those materials for anything. I'm really concerned about when this thing wakes up again. How are we doing on our bananas? Not good enough is the answer. Open up some more terrain. Because we're going to go over here and go orchard. I don't like that you want my bananas. Okay, and how are we doing on the blue quality beverages? We have no context of how much I need to get all that stuff going. Yeah, so you need the wine glasses and all that for more chefs and the school. Let's go ahead though and put down another orchard. Which will be more oranges. So realistically, I'm probably just going to need way more wheat fields to get enough of the stuff for being able to keep making the better beer. Even though I don't really need all that wheat. Okay, so we can get the alchemy place, which there's a lot of stuff I need to get the dyes, but at least I have that as an option. The juice press is one we'll probably take just because it gives me options as well. So I can put the juice press just somewhere I can get at a road. Which is actually saying something at this point. Okay, so you're going to start making as much juice as you possibly can. This also means we need our chef's quarters. Alright, juice shortage. We'll accept that. And you're getting just green quality beer. Alright. I should have re-rolled it. That was a mistake. If I would have re-rolled it, I would have had the chance of getting some better stuff. Alright, so we're now making apple juice and orange juice. Alright, meanwhile, we can take you and switch you off honey to potato to keep you stocked up. I'm gonna have to increase the food. We will take you off of the orange juice and put you on the wheat bread. Alright. We got ourselves a new recipe. So we can get honey cakes, which is another sweet we can make. And milk coffee. Milk coffee is a blue drink I can actually scale. Alright, congratulations. You're growing coffee now. The next thing, actually I take that back. I can't make milk yet. Congratulations, go back to making apples. Alright, so the next option, we get the opportunity to get cows. We need cows to get milk to make milk coffee. I also don't think I have the coffee place anyways. I don't. What is your deal? Am I making any donuts? Why are you not making donuts? We've got eggs, flour, sugar. You have shut down. Why? No pantry nearby. Really hoping that just didn't kill us. Okay. Alright, so luckily you have 8 eggs. It's just going to take time. Unfortunately, that puts me way behind on the donuts. And I'm probably going to have to survive this one based on people's happiness. Which is going to be a struggle. So I need to get this to the point that there is enough goods coming in to keep it running like 24/7. I forgot you're tucked over here yet. Okay, so starting this off, the good beer, the bananas, the okay beer, the orange juice, the apple juice. Alright, so that is dire because I need way more bananas. This may sound a little disconnected, but have the devs used Gen AI for this? You read something in chat about a Topia game? No. This one, they don't have any disclosure saying Gen AI or anything. Oh, that's not the right building. I need orchards. Oh, I know Star Sand Island, not, I don't think they had an accusation of Gen AI. They had an accusation of a bunch of other things, but, it was more like the AI review kind of things, but it's one of those ones you can kind of choose to believe what you like on that one. But just kind of one of those things that just because you see a whole lot of very clearly AI things doesn't mean that the game dev behind it is complicit or whatever. Because we've run into that kind of stuff and other stuff as well, where someone, you know, quote-unquote well-meaning. Insufficient workers. Well, that is unfortunate. I need to find workers. Well, we're just gonna have to build more homes. I think we're getting pretty close to the limit, though, on how far out I can go before we run into even more problems. I'm assuming you have to build a marketplace and all that. Yep. So we're gonna go and need to have a marketplace up here. We've got that. I'm going to need to have a place to eat. But yeah, no, this game, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have AI. But some people did some downstream things, and used AI in the process, hurting the devs, you presume. Yeah, and I can't speak for this one, but the that sand one, like I said, it was basically there was accusation of AI reviews, but it's kind of one of those things. Like, again, you can choose to believe what you like, but it is unfortunate that. Oh, okay. You can kind of choose to believe what you like, but it's kind of one of those things that there are times it's not the devs behind it. It's someone who, you know, either A, they believe in the product, or B, they don't, and they want to see it downfall, and so, you know, do the AI reviews and then accuse them of AI reviews. Alright, so we are finally making the donuts. Small blessings there. We're making the beer, we're making the juice, we're making the other juice. I need way more bananas because we're only about halfway through the amount of bananas we have. And this will help out with those, but it doesn't help out, like, it can help out those other two, but it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't hit the third group, and I don't have something else to satisfy the third group. Do the villagers eat as well? Yes, the villagers eat as well. When we look at our eateries, these are the things I'm allowing the villagers to eat. And then the other stuff is there. So we can switch you to oranges. Because we're running basically out of food. You need to be off apples. You can have the honey now. this is looking pretty spicy. The villagers get eaten as well. Not that I've seen, but just you wait, we might find out. Okay. How much of a surplus of flour do I have? I assume it's obnoxiously high, right? Okay, beeswax and sugarcane are getting shut down. So where is my bees? So my apiary is up here. Stop making the beeswax. Just the honey. The sugarcane is up here. Congratulations. You have a new job. You grow potatoes. Meanwhile, I have enough spare chefs. I'm going to make a cake tower. And that's flour and eggs. And how are we doing on eggs? Oh, we're doing great on eggs. Okay, so that'll help us out because then I can let our people eat cake. Only like actually eat cake and not the whole meme around that. We're not quite hitting what I need. So the cake counts as hungry and sweet. And the donut counts as hungry and sweet as well. So delicious is where we're missing. It seems like delicious is kind of code for like savory. Or at least not sweet. Okay, we've got enough drinks now. So now we're basically just on to more banana. Which I've got an absolutely obnoxious amount of orchards trying to see that goal. You will get to have an upgrade. Which will give me more laborers. I'm probably going to need to go over here. There's another chef's house. So I have enough people to keep that cake factory or whatever going full speed. Meanwhile, let's look at our food options and how are we doing. So we're basically on the fence with potatoes constantly. We are eating the wheat bread. Currently, we're eating the apples as well. So what I think we might need to do to manage this is start taking all that flour, get ourselves some more chefs, and just have lots of cake and stuff coming through. Do you have enough that I can open up a second sweet shops? Let's see. We have plenty of eggs. We have plenty of sugar and flour. Yeah, so we could definitely handle a second sweet shop. What I need though is more chefs to work it. I've got tons of extra workers. So far as regular workers. So what's gonna happen here is we're going to go ahead and, real shocker, you never see it coming, we're going to be building another orchard. Because I need bananas. I need all the bananas. We can handle another one, so we're just gonna go ahead and do this. We will need another chef. Okay. What is your deal? Why did you get to work? You're doing fine over here. Unfortunately, this does mean I've gradually fully surrounded my lumber yard. So it's working at 15% its normal speed. Needless to say, that needs to move. That is terrible. So let's go ahead and grab this roadway down here. We need to move the lumber yard. Gonna check it way down here where it won't have any penalties. Then you want a storehouse. And recipes. Okay. I could technically make a Waldorf salad, and that's the only one here I can make. So I'll choose that. I'm probably not gonna make it, because I need to flip everything over to accommodate it. But technically it is on the list of things I could make. Please, make the bananas faster. I'm pretty much committing the entirety of this place to making bananas. Is there resources that are just straight up unavailable? No. The game doesn't have it where it's like, okay, this run you can't get wood, or that run you can't get stone, or this, you know, this map you don't have access to oranges, or anything like that. Not that I've seen, at least. That said, it does keep going up in difficulties, and we're on difficulty 6 out of 20. Like, and you can only go up by 1 tier each time. And it escalates more and more and more. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and, we got enough employees for another orchard. So we can go ahead and just, plunk down another one of those. And the reason I'm doing these orchards is you get all sorts of different buffs in the game. And one of the buffs I've gotten makes it so there's a chance of getting a banana. Oh, we have people running out of food. We have a chance of getting a banana every time they harvest from the orchard. And so it slowly does build up. Alright, you can have the juice and the other one. Take you off of that. We can put you on apples for a while. So I need more food for my other people. We have enough for another orchard. You probably figured out that I am going all in on the orchards right now. Alright, and you'll be on oranges as well. Okay, so the next thing to do with our people is probably going to involve more wheat fields to get stuff going on. Also, this has been running with me out without me paying attention to it for a while. Yeah, you ran out of buttons to sell a while ago. Planks. Don't let it drop below 30. Oh, I've only got 2 minutes left on the clock. Please. We're so close. If I don't feed it that full amount, or at least as much as I can get by the time the time runs out, I don't know what happens. It's bad. I have been warned, it's basically practically a losing condition, considering we can only have... At 125, we automatically fail. And I believe when we do this, we're going to take like 100 hit or something like that. Oh, it's going to be so close. I've got 1 minute and something. I built all the orchards we can. At this point, if it's not handled, it's not handled. It's too late to fix anything at this stage. I just need that RNG on the bananas. Need 74 more. So far as not bananas, but points. Alright, 50 more. 44 more. 38 more. 14 more. Thank you. We got through in under a minute left before it was going to be doomsday. Alright, so what did you give me? Bath Commons. Okay, we actually do have a good salad in a pinch that will cover delicious. I don't think we're gonna do it, but at least that gives me the option. I'm gonna school. What did the school need as an input, though? I guess it doesn't matter because I don't want the other two things. Alright, so I'm not gonna be worrying about the salads right now. So the Bathing Commons should boost every one of the houses around it to give me a sudden influx of just a ridiculous number of people. The problem is, it's really big. And that is honestly a big enough problem within itself. Alright, beer. Open up this area. So you don't need to be near anything specific. So we can just straight up grab you, get over to the other side of the planet. You're not needed to be anywhere near there. There. And with this, you don't need to be anywhere specific either. So let's go and scooch you on over here. And scooch you back here. And make room for the Bathing Commons. Put a little bit of road here so that counts still. Alright, we can also, at this point, yoink those two up. Alright, so what else do we got going on here that could potentially be important for us? We do have the school. Oh, the school requires the dye. Ah, that's what those are for. Where is my carpenter? Is that, I think that's literally the carpenter. No, the carpenter was around here somewhere. You require gears. Okay, well the bathing house is literally useless then. What the heck do you need to do these? So that requires the gears. Is the gears something produced by the smelting? No, that makes steel and golden thread. The answer is, this isn't happening. That's what the answer is. That right there, pretend I didn't build it. Because I can't put it to any use. In the meantime, I'm gonna go here, potatoes. Get ourselves another potato farm going, because why not? And I can go to you, so I get blueprints or recipes. It's really 50-50 on which way I should go with this. I'm gonna go with the cheaper one because it's cheaper. Okay, roast pit. That is a blue delicious for the circus, which will make people happy. The banana's already covered delicious. So I can go with that. And the circus requires feathers. How are we doing on the lilacs? We got plenty for right now. Is there a place where I can fit the circus? I mean, I can move that. Yeah, fine. We'll just move the farm I just built. Because then what we could do is build the circus over here. And that'll boost a little bit of here. And while we're here, because I haven't been good about it, there's a fountain. I don't believe you need to be connected to roads. I'm wrong. For anyone keeping notes. There's a fountain. We can go up here. We should be able to add a couple of wells in here or there. Because those wells will make people happier as well. That's fine. Okay. The circus needs feathers, and I'm pretty sure for the feathers, we gotta go here and get rid of some chickens for feathers. Which likely means I'm going to need to get more chickens. I don't know where I'm shoving that. We're not using the blue beverages on that. That was not worth it. I could still work with it, though. As sad as it is, I can still make that work. We'll just go right up here, and then go... 1 second. Juice press is more efficient. Livestock, we can go here, do this, chickens. I need slightly more things. Alright, so something that's going to happen here is I don't think we realistically push through a whole nother round. So the new plan here is the people get the fanciest food I've got on hand. Just... if you can dream it, you can eat it. Be happy. Because this does go up based on happiness, and I think we're going to have to just push the happiness and run down the clock and hope the happiness is coming faster than the next set of demands. Meanwhile, let's go to their planks. Drop that down to 1 person. We've got our house looking for a full upgrade. It's got a couple of spare chefs. Alright, so the alchemy hut, if I can make this... Oh, we got another one of these. We will grab the saucing place. I don't have anything I can make with that I care about right now. Okay, so we want to stay on top of this, where anytime we notice one of these running out, like that, we bounce it over to the next best thing we've got. So we're going to need to keep those rolling in as good as we can. So I've got 2 spare chefs. What can I have them on that'll do the most good? The cafe, which I do not own a cafe, is more efficient. Thanks, man. Real team player you are there. Alright, so let's go here and get another juice press. And just tell it to go for it. And I'll need a couple more chefs to man that juice press. As we look around desperately for anywhere I can fit anything without having to readjust everything. Yeah, you're too far out here. Okay, so we can make some adjustments. That mine has to be there, but the carpenter's workshop does not have to be there. So we're gonna grab you, pick you up, chuck you there, grab you, chuck you there. Let's grab this place. So we got another 2,300. Let's make sure we are continuing to sell what we can at the highest value. I have all the windows I could ever possibly need. I've lost track, which is perfect. Start selling those things in bulk. We need to be buying more buildings and recipes. Just anything I can do to make my people happier. We need to bury them in happiness. Oh, I forgot you have to right-click and tell it to repair. I've been looking at these damaged buildings and be like, man, they're taking their time getting those. Alright, so that drink's done. Eat that. The bananas are done. Go eat candy. You shouldn't be making candy. Make the donuts. The donuts are way better than the candy. Now we're out of cake, so you're on to apple juice. You're out of the fancy beer. You're on to bread. You're out of pork. Have some honey. Alright. So select a wish. That's already done. Okay, so premium banana. Separation of powers. 33% chance that refreshing blueprints, recipes, and grace power won't consume. That's a new one. I haven't seen that before. Premium bananas. Monkey Paradise. Because it got all the monkey and banana things. And that's the only wish we got there. And I can't do the Swiss rolls. We haven't gotten that recipe yet. Okay, if I take the road here. We still have room for more cooks and workers. Okay, we have enough cooks now. Alright. Checking our food options. Okay, we're out of apple juice, so they're out of orange juice. They're out of candy, so... bananas. You're out of bread, so you have beer. You're about to run out of honey, so let's put you on the oranges themselves. Just doing everything we can to try and make them as happy as we can. We're gaining 1.6 happiness per minute. Or 1.6 contentment per minute. We win at 100, and we're at 89.33. So we are struggling on that front. Okay. Swiss roll. Done. Done and done. Alright, apple orchard, you're making blueberries. The Swiss roll is being made in what building now? The cake tower. Cake tower. Your new recipe, that is now your only recipe, is Swiss rolls. And when we finish that, we'll probably win. Okay. So you're still doing fine. We can go to the artifact page. Those don't matter anymore. But I wonder if there's a bonus for getting artifacts, so we just bought them all. Because ultimately, again, this is a roguelite game, so when this round is over, I'm going to get stuff that is a meta score, and we're going to want to use that those meta points to try and unlock new things. So move you around, you've got plenty, the bananas are gone, eat the apples. The beer's gone, eat the honey. Oh, actually, here. If you're going to be eating silver stuff, go ahead and eat the potatoes. I've got like 300 of them. Alright, so I need you on something else for a while. Let's have you eat eggs for a while, I guess. Yeah, we're right about to win. One more tick over should do it. Because our people's contentment has been so high. Or actually, we're not getting any more points for contentment because of the food. Okay, so silver food apparently doesn't do anything for us at all. That's good information. So if it ain't silver or better, it ain't worth eating. So we got them on 2 greens and a blue. I'll have to wait for that to tick over for them eating that. I'm waiting for that to tick over because it says current happiness. It's giving me 0 right at the finish line. I'm not sure why that is, and I'm not a fan. Maybe you have to have a certain minimum amount. There's 18 of the purple quality donuts. Yeah, so the problem is they're eating all that stuff faster than I think it's giving its bonus. Which, again, we're about to make these Swiss rolls, which should handle things. What are you missing? We got the blueberries. We got the eggs. I am growing the blueberries down here, right? Yeah, we are getting blueberries. I think we're just waiting for them to get up here. Because we got eggs, flour, and blueberries. We check here. We got the blueberries, we got the eggs. And then the flour, we've got literally 700. So it's just a matter of them getting the delivery to the... Yeah, there it goes. It's making the Swiss rolls right now. And how many does it make in a batch? 2. It's not amazing. But we should have this more than in the bag. Okay, so a bunch of the food is running low that we've been giving them. Get you on apples and... Nope, not that. On apples and honey. Mostly just trying to keep them fed for right now to let stuff stack up enough that we can hopefully get another bump up in the happiness. Looking at some of the things down here where it's like, get 1,000 roses... You're like, okay, so these rounds are going to have to go way longer if you're going to be pulling off those kind of things of just getting thousands of material to chuck at making a whole party thing happen. Alright, blueprint. We're not going to do any of it, but I unlocked another blueprint, that's fine. Yeah, we barely made on that last set. Oh. So we currently have a high enough residence happiness that we're getting 0.03 per minute, which is not much, but considering we're giving them only silver quality food, I mean, I can't exactly expect too much. Here, we switch you over to bananas. I've got a decent number. We're going to switch you over to those. I got a decent number. My hope is when that ticks over, it'll give me probably 1 point-ish. Either way, we're about to get our last 2 Swiss rolls. That's the person on there, the way right there. Actually, there's the Swiss rolls right now. No, that's not a Swiss roll, that's bread. They're delivering the stuff for making the Swiss rolls right now. So once we get our last 2 Swiss rolls, that gets me something like 30 or whatever contentment, or 10 contentment. Considering I need 0.32, a third of a contentment point to win. And that'll happen in the next minute, assuming we don't run out of food. Which, you know, we might run out of bananas. There's the Swiss rolls. When those hit there, I can click the button and we win. And winner. Okay. Yeah, so we completed the contract. We had 283 people on a difficulty 6. We filled 5 orders. We filled 9 wishes. We upgraded 18 houses to the max. We completed 4 side missions. We owned 4 items. And so we got 198 of the fruit. We also got achievements for doing this on difficulty 6, Jungle 2, and for doing our first time with the Moon Companion. Joy above all. At first, I was simply curious. I had heard about the legend of the contract that could grant entry to the land of inspiration to any creator trapped in a rut. It sounded like only right left in the world of darkness. I was a writer of fairy tales, devoted to portraying pure, untainted joy, yet critics always accused me of lacking depth, of writing without a soul. I believed that if I could witness joy in its most exalted form, I might reclaim the pen I had long since dulled. And so I signed my name. Now, beyond the steady and thickening barrier, I could see Goldpaw standing beneath the brilliance of the circus stage. Bathed in the spotlight, he moved with effortless grace, twirling a conductor's baton as he summoned a storm of glowing doves from the air. A wave of cheers surged through the tent, lifting the atmosphere to a fever pitch. Laughter, applause, gasps of wonder. Every sound rang with fullness and delight, and yet they felt too precise, too perfect. What I had once strained to describe as true happiness now unfolded before me with an overwhelming grandeur, and instead of awe, I only felt cold, creeping alienation. The sea of joy surged in a flawless rhythm. Yes, I know that rhythm. It is redacted. I slowly began to realize that it was Goldpaw who was the true master of this world. Every moment of mirth was a carefully orchestrated act. The delight, the wonder, the awe. It was all his design, and I, once certain, had come as a witness of its chronicler, had long become part of the show, a silent, immobile spectator, bound eternally to my seat. I found the source of happiness above it. I could see the invisible string, redacted, and then they do like, he has his whole prayer he keeps going, and it's the prayer that he's supposed to be, because he's like trapped in a gem or whatever, and so trying to retain his mind or whatever, he keeps saying this prayer again and again. Alright, so we got our achievements. So we get this. So this gives me the gem cutter building as something I can start with now. We now have new missions that we can do, which I'm curious what that's about. Well, there's a new thing, Alchemist Flask. For every 10 buckets of dye produced, there'll also be 7 buckets of perfumes as a thing we can unlock. So we are getting more varieties of things that can show up. So that's good news, because I was worried about that. But yeah, so we're going to get more and more things we can unlock to choose between. Those ones are just a lot of stuff. Fog no longer affects buildings. Alright. This grand arena where warriors clash for glory. But beyond honor of battle, it serves as a thrilling spectacle for the crowds. Increases worker happiness when built. Oh, when built? Yeah. But yeah, so there's going to be a whole bunch of different things you're going to unlock later on. Yes, this is another one of the bonuses we get. So mining efficiency minus 25%. 50% chance to gain double the resources when mining. Okay. That's a curiosity. So just your general mining is reduced, but a 50% chance of more, which should ultimately net you a gain, but it will kind of, you know, be little bits here and there. Man, there's so many things to unlock in this game. Oh, those ones are already unlocked. Ah, gotcha. So some of these we unlock over time. The all-in gambit. When wrath gauge is above 60%, grace power refresh chances cannot fall below 2. Credit overdraft. When blueprints and recipes and grace power have no refresh chances, you may still refresh. Each forced refresh consumes food from the pantry equal to 25% or 25 times the current round. Oh. Pocket sand. Wrath gauge plus 40. Each point in wrath gauge increases order by 1. Okay, so you can basically throw yourself to practically losing the game, but make your people's happiness super easy. Yeah, so that's kind of the interesting thing of that. So with that, we got 204 points, and this is the meta progress. All this here, which means I can do stuff to boost things. If we grab, so let's see, learning to organize events, the town festival, the tavern can now have a festival. The entrepreneur, we'll start the game with the following resources: 30 coal. You've mastered the art of negotiation. The prices go down. Increases guest appeal. The bathroom commons can now organize bath parties. Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things that I end up grabbing stuff I don't care about as much to grab these, but at the same time, it's not bad. Alright, so production, plus 1. Chance of double output, 1% higher. So we would be able to export soap or lilac. Let's go ahead and make it so we can export lilac and get ourselves... We can't afford that. We can now export firewood. And we'll go and backfill something over here. Yeah, I'm not going to use the serene thing, but I have to get all of them to unlock this. Alright, but you get the ideas. Each time you do this, you get a couple of extra little points here and there. And they do add up, like having everything be like 2% more efficient, 2% faster, 1% more, 2% chance of double. And all those things end up adding up to a vote. Now, with that said, I'm in kind of the awkward position where normally I don't end stream for another half hour or so, but at the same time, I can't get anything done in this game in half an hour. So I do think, since I've been like all over the schedule recently and staying up way later than I probably should, I do think we're going to probably end a little bit early today. I do not know if there's going to be a stream tomorrow. Technically, tomorrow's my day off, so it kind of depends on what's going on and whether or not I end up streaming, but if not that, we'll definitely be back Saturday. As a reminder, there are a couple of sponsored streams where we got games that we're going to be playing in the near future. There is Spacecraft is one of them, and the other one was, I think it was Oath for Blood or something like that. It's a vaguely Norse game, but we'll definitely be checking those out. One was in like 4 days, and the other's in about a week. But with all that said, what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is, if you're over on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, but the stream will be ending for you over on YouTube right away, so thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have enjoyed tonight's content and you're not already following the channel, don't forget to drop the follow, that way you can find your way back here in the future. But I'm going to go ahead and put up my ending stream screen and see who we can find